Hey, what is up, awesome people? I'm Shady Wags, and in this video I'm going to share with you the method I use to mine down and set up a usable base at the center of the planet. I'm also going to show you how I mine completely through the planet and give you some tips and tricks that may help you if you decide this is something you'd like to do. If you watched my last video on mining to the center, you saw that I did make it there just by mining straight down. Now, the issue with going about it that way is you cannot easily get back up and back down. It's pretty much a one-way trip. I also tried mining at an angle, and while this is absolutely possible, it's also difficult because it's really tough to keep a good angle on that incline. And because of the gravity, you're going to find that incline getting steeper and steeper, and eventually you're going to find yourself in a similar situation as mining straight down. The best way I found is to use a stair-step method. This does take a longer amount of time, but the benefit is you're going to be able to make your way all the way down to the center and all the way back up to the surface on foot. I do want to apologize ahead of time because there is going to be some laggy graphics. I am playing on PC on Astroneer pre-alpha version 2.10, and there's some optimization issues at this time. I have a lot of tethers placed down, and the more items you place in the world, the slower and slower the game gets. The things you're going to need is a lot of compound because you're using a lot of tethers, and I think it takes roughly about 16 pieces of compound to make it all the way to the center. You want to have a good power supply coming from your base with multiple solar panels and batteries. If you don't have a good power supply, then you're going to find yourself constantly sitting and waiting for power. Right now, I'm going to use a solar panel, but you're definitely going to need more than that. It's also optimal that you're not digging on top of a cave because that could present some issues in keeping your tunnel straight. It's not a requirement, you can't work around that, but I would dig a test tunnel straight down about 8 to 10 tethers deep to make sure there is no cave system beneath you. And the last thing, you're going to need time. This is not a quick project. It took me roughly around 6 hours to complete just the tunnel to the center. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get this started. First thing you want to do is place down your very first tether. This is going to be where your path starts. Now place the second tether in a straight line going out from that first tether as far as it'll reach and still stay connected. Move to that second tether and you're going to dig straight down underneath that second tether. You don't want to dig all the way down. You're just going to have to get a feeling for when to stop because you want to place down another tether directly underneath that second tether. The more you do this, the better feeling you're going to get when to stop digging. If you do dig out too much, you'll need to fill it back in enough for that tether line to connect. Now that that third tether is down, you want to dig down to it and then turn around and dig an angled ramp back up to that first tether. Now go down that ramp and turn right. And you're going to dig a straight tunnel directly in front of that third tether. Just dig this tunnel as far as it'll go. Now place down a fourth tether in that tunnel as far as it will go, but still connecting to the third. At this point, it's just a matter of repeating this process over and over again. Dig a hole underneath the fourth tether. Place another tether underneath it. Dig your ramp. And then dig your tunnel to the right again. And you're just going to keep doing this over and over, creating a square staircase leading all the way to the center. Some things to take into consideration: this is not Minecraft. These tunnels and ramps are not going to be perfect. Some of them are going to be far from it. And because of the way mining works in Astroneer, along with the gravity, it's going to attempt to push your tunnel in directions you don't want to go, or you may think you're going in the right direction, and when in reality, you're not. That's why those tethers are so important, because you're going to be following the line that those tethers are creating. You're basically creating 90-degree angle after 90-degree angle. So as long as you keep those tethers going as straight as possible, you're going to be heading in the right direction. A couple benefits to mining down like this is if your intention is to mine out an area completely or eventually to mine out the entire planet, you're going to have access to mine out each level. Also, I know many people like to live underground, and this makes it pretty simple to set up a base underneath the surface, and if and when they do add hostile creatures, you can seal that entrance. If you do want to set up a base at the middle of the planet, I would set that up right before you get to zero gravity because it gets really hard to control your movement, and accomplishing anything in zero gravity is virtually impossible. And even though you are at zero gravity, you can take damage from falls and hits. And real quick on that fall damage, you're going to take fall damage when you're traveling in and out of this tunnel. At any time you take damage, just stop and wait till you heal up before going any further. Because after you take that initial damage, even the smallest little bit of damage can kill you. So once I hit zero gravity, I sealed that tunnel up, and then I extended the tunnel right before that about 10 tethers. Then I made a left and cleared out a square at the end of that tunnel and set my base up in there. Again, guys, I really apologize for the bad graphics and the lack of sound. It is a game issue that eventually will be solved. I didn't put any sound in because when you start putting in all those tethers, it just starts messing up the sound also. So it was better to leave it out. And I know the video looks really bad, but I thought this is still information that some people would find useful and I wanted to share with you. I'll just continue making my way up this tunnel and you'll see that the base is right up here. There's two ways you can get the habitat down here. You could always carry it level by level, but that is going to take a long time. So what I did is I created a drop shaft. And this is also the first part of mining completely through the planet. I went out into that tunnel right outside where I created the room for my base, and I started a tunnel going at an angle upwards. I just kept that tunnel at a slight upwards angle and continued trying to keep the tether straight. I didn't know exactly where I was going to end up. What I thought though was that if my base was right here on the top and this tunnel was sitting in the middle of the planet, either vertical or horizontal, I thought by angling this tunnel up, I would end up either here or over here. Now, once I did make it to the surface, I was right over here to the right side of my base. Then what I did, I went ahead and I dropped a habitat into that tunnel. It won't fall all the way down to the bottom. So what you can do is either save, then log out and log back in, and it should make its way to the bottom. Or you can go back into that tunnel, and as you make your way down, the habitat will continue falling. For the second part of the tunnel, right underneath that tunnel that I dug upwards, I began digging down. Now the issue I ran into is as you dig further and further, you'll come to a point when the gravity is going to change, and you should begin digging upwards towards the other side, but what happens is the gravity starts pushing you back down and around at a slight curve. So I was starting to circle around on myself. What you have to do is identify where that gravity change starts and then dig up again, and you should reach the surface. Now, by my estimates, I thought this tunnel should end up somewhere around over in this area. Now, once I finally did reach the surface, I was way on top of a mountain. So I went ahead and committed suicide and then jumped in my shuttle to see if I could find out where this thing actually came out. Here's the first entrance. and here is that second entrance, all the way over here on the other side. So not the straightest of tunnels, and definitely not that big dramatic moment you may have been expecting, but it does prove that it is possible to mine through to the other side, and it is possible to completely mine out an entire planet. Now, for more info on that base at the center, there is no wind or sun down there, so it is a challenge to provide that base with a constant power supply. If you leave the area and come back, it will power each station. No idea why, but it does work. Large and small generators work as well, and there's normally a pretty decent supply of coal around the center. You can use the trade platform from the center. It will take off and land. You can also create a shuttle and take off from down here, but you cannot land down here. It does not show up on the map. And if you save from down here and then log out, you will log back in up on the surface above the base. So before you log out, you want to make sure that you take everything out of your backpack and store it. And if you're wondering, the rover and the truck do not work real well without gravity. If you found this video useful, please hit that thumbs up button. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I will talk to you later. Have a good one.